This is one of the weirdest clips we've seen in a long while. Now, this next one up, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, by the way. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I've got a show tomorrow night at the Ultimate Jam, so I will be doing my show early tomorrow instead of at the regular time. And then Wednesday will be regular shows, and I will be, by the time I finish my show here at Flappers and start driving towards Vegas to be back there in time to sleep in my own bed and then get up the next day and go to my girlfriend's show, I will be exhausted beyond measure and nearing a total physical breakdown. But in the meantime, come see my shows because I will be throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks. And but there's a chance that our dear friend Boston Brian and dear friend Philip Bender might actually be able to come see a stand-up show. I think that would just be lovely on Wednesday at Flappers here in Burbank. So come on down. It's kind of the, I mean, I don't know why Burbank doesn't literally have "come on down" as their, welcome sign. You know what I mean? If it fits anywhere, come on down. You're the next contestant, right? That's how Burbank should work. Anyway, so let me show you something really, really. We've seen a lot of stupid today. I think we're about to peg out how much fucking stupid, though. Ladies and gentlemen, this would be a fellow by the name of Mark Levin, who's a complete chump. And Mark Levin has Pastor fucking Hagee on. Now, we've been dealing with Kenneth Copeland and the Flashpoint crowd so much, and Donald Trump's theft of Benny Hinn's hairdo, that I didn't even know Pastor Hagee was still fucking around, right? But here he is, and this is his statement. This is the thing that look at this. If democracy in the Mideast is destroyed, it can destroy democracy in America. Okay, first of all, what are you fucking talking about? Israel is a democracy, but none of the other fucking countries of merit are. And the ones that are holding on by their fucking fingernails. And fuck off.
Great patriot.
All right, hold on, we'll back up here.
I have a dear friend, a great patriot, one of the greatest friends Israel.
That's Pastor Hagee. Yeah, he looks like Pat Robertson's stunt double, but that's him.
As Pastor John Hagee, founder and chairman of Christians United for Israel.
Yeah, hence the flags, the right one being the Christian flag and the left one being the Israel flag.
Pastor, Cornerstone Church, San Antonio, Texas. You know, Pastor, you don't really need an introduction, but there, I gave you one.
You rat.
Get right down to business here. You're a leading evangelical Christian voice in the United States of America.
Yes, and almost singularly responsible for the failure of evangelical Christian thought in the country. It's amazing how you've been such a terrible representative of Christianity that you've all but gutted it.
Millions of people who follow you. You have a huge church.
Huge. Yeah, if I do say so myself, you have a huge church. Let me tell you, I've seen it in person, and it's substantial.
My question to you is this.
Can I touch it? No, sorry.
Is this war that's taking place against Israel and the Jews, is it a war that all Americans should be very, very concerned about?
Yeah, but not concerned about enough to help Ukraine at all. I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere, obviously.
Absolutely, America should be concerned about it. One, because
I have time traveled here from 1984. Most people are shocked to not see me with VHS lines across my face. I've flown in personally from UHF to help in this situation, and
if democracy in the Middle East is destroyed, it gives all of the enemies of democracy a capacity to destroy the democracy in this country.
No.
I think there's something that the American people need to think about.
Okay.
That Iran was the mastermind behind this war. And
Wow, cutting edge. So glad you came on. So you're saying that Hamas and Hezbollah are Iran's pulling the strings. I only wish the mainstream media would mention this.
Hamas were the ground troops.
Because they're the ones actually doing the killing and that stuff. Yeah, anytime. Just you know what you've said enough. Just sit back and Mark will pick up the no, he won't.
Us, the great Satan, and Israel, the little Satan.
And Hal Sparks, the medium-sized Satan.
What is to stop Iran, those masterminds who planned that, from planning a similar plan for the United States of America?
The FBI and the CIA and the DOD and the Pentagon, and I mean, that won't stop them from planning him, but it'll stop them from carrying it out, of course. But you're talking to Mark Levin, who wants to get rid of the FBI. So just in time, interestingly enough, for a plan like that to be carried out. I don't know. Is the timing meaningful to you, Pastor?
And using the people who have come across our southern borders.
Well, it's difficult to convert Latin Catholics to Muslim jihad, but I'm sure they'll give it the old college try.
Or a similar event to happen in this nation, because China, with it.
Yeah, also Chinese. Not a lot of not a lot of support in China for people to convert to Islam as well. I don't know. Ask the Uyghurs.
Spy blimp.
Somebody, Francie says, is there a 2XL Satan? Yeah, you're looking at him. He's wearing a blue suit.
Sent over the United States for 7 days, certainly knows where all of our military equipment and machinery and rockets and bases are.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea it was to name the bases. Somebody ought to look into that. I don't know. Like, I mean, it just should be like, Operation Black Op, and all the military bases should be painted to look like old Kmart's.
This nation, the United States of America.
All right, so that's where you are currently? Okay.
Is wide open for the same thing that Israel experienced.
No, I'm pretty sure Hamas can't reach here in paragliders and rowboats. Pretty sure.
And believe me,
and we're also armed like fucking crazy by a bunch of people who can't wait to shoot someone like that.
They hate us to the core and would be delighted to do it.
Oh, they'd be delighted. Just absolutely delighted. They'd be tickled pink, wouldn't they? Oh, they would just be just overjoyed at the idea. Delighted. Would you like to see the body? I would be delighted.
Pastor, let me ask you this. There's a lot of
Can you kick my ass?
talk about the Jewish people occupying Jerusalem, occupying Judea and Samaria, occupying this entire area, which the enemies of Israel say belong to Arabs and Palestinians and so forth and so on.
And so forth and so on.
Just a short history.
Oh, dear.
About Judaism and
yeah, don't go all the way back to like Abraham about to stab his son and God stops him.
Christianity, and what would happen to these sites if Israel ceased to exist or Israel wasn't there to protect them?
Those sites would disappear.
Oh dear. You're telling me we would lose some sites, would we? Oh no. Gee, I can't even think of a country where some people go back to the ground where something happened and there's not a standing monument to what occurred there, and still look, that you could look at and go, ah.
Those sites would
the sites
disappear. The idea that
if they disappeared, could you technically call them sites anymore? If you can't see it, if a religious building burns down in the forest and no one is around to see it, is it still technically a site?
this land does not belong to Israel, is simply a concoction of people who are surrendering to an ideology that's completely false.
I see. But you sure it's not an ideology? But
The fact is, there is a God, and that God is a creator. And
well, I have to stop you right there. The whole point of God is that it isn't a fact, that it's faith-based. That's why it requires effort on your part. If it was a fact, you would just have knowledge of it. And if you had knowledge of it, then you would use it as a control point, and therefore God itself has to deny knowledge of its existence simply so you get on with living as a good person. Because even if you say God is on your side, you have to wrestle with the fact that you can't possibly be sure. That's what faith is about. And so if you say it's a fact, then I know you're full of shit.
God in Genesis 1:1 created the heavens and the earth.
Oh, okay, so we are going right back to the beginning of it. You're not going to fast forward to Deuteronomy?
Since he created the heavens and the earth, he is owner.
A lot has happened. A lot has happened. New Coke, the end of MTV, the TRS-80, upright video games came home, and quite frankly, the graphics have gotten better. People started wearing ties mostly for looks instead of a way to fit your father's shirt around your neck.
And as
the wheel, I could go on.
He has rights, and he, as owner, has given to the Jewish people, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, their covenant with them.
I see. Is this covenant written down in any way that has his signature on it? Like a deed where he signed, bill of sale maybe, I don't know.
That they should own this land forever.
I see. Great. And so they're not renting. I'm just saying that forever's a long time. That's a word that God would comfortably use since it doesn't age and it's extra temporal. As a matter of fact, forever isn't even a time-based word, whereas human beings with our limited lifespan, it might. You know what? We'll work it out later.
That covenant is recorded in the Bible.
I see. What page is the signature on? I just want to know whatever. And also, is there an eviction clause if they kind of like Eden had? You know what I mean? Like Eden had an eviction clause. Is there a version of the fruit that they shouldn't touch to? No.
20 times, and it remains their property to this day.
Yeah, except for the New Testament part where, never mind.
That covenant with God has never been broken, and it still stands.
Actually, it was broken, and that's why they wandered the earth for 40 years in the Old Testament. And they were not guaranteed it just because of their lineage. Only, supposedly the good ones were allowed back in. Now, granted, Old Testament God, terrible judge of character. In an entire town of people in Sodom and Gomorrah, he picked the family that had a wife that would look back and miss Sodom and Gomorrah, and the two daughters that would get their dad drunk and fuck them as the only good people in town. I'm just saying the Johnsons would have been very upset. They paid their taxes, they swept their stoop, and they never offered up their daughters to a bunch of men to rape instead of the angels that were visiting. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson of downtown Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't even think they lived in. They lived in just part of Gomorrah. They never even made it to Sodom. I mean, that was the nice side of the tracks.
The people who are saying the land does not belong to Israel do not believe in the God of heaven, and they do not believe the Bible as the Word of God.
Yeah, we know. And by the way, the people of Israel don't believe that the New Testament is the Word of God either, which is what your entire ministry is predicated on. Yeah, we get it. So you're saying there's a disagreement about prophecy in this region of the world. Next thing you'll tell me there's a difference in what the Sunnis and the Shias believe. Don't get me started on the Johnsons.
I have a dear.
Jesus, try harder, dipshit.